Most people think that just because you have a thought, that is the thing that's true. Well, the thing that I've realized is it's not. Every thought that we have is, yes, it's our truth in that moment. We get to choose. We get to choose what it is that we think. And it's like a practice. So if you're out there and you're training yourself physically, you're in the gym or you're running or you're training on the court, the turf, the field, the water, it doesn't matter what it is. We also need to train our top 6 inches. It's like a muscle in itself. The more we practice, the better we get. The better we get at controlling our thoughts. It's like learning a new skill physically. Let me ask you this. Did you always know how to tie your shoelaces? No, you didn't. I did have one clever boy that said yes, he did. But anyway, so no, you didn't. You learned to practice it. It was a conscious, purposeful, intentional thing where you would put the thing there, you tie the knot, and it would end up in a mess, or it would end up with nothing and your shoe would fall off. You learned. It's like any skill that we learn. We get to work it and work it. We get to learn. We get to practice. We get to play with it. We get to learn from when it doesn't go quite the way we want it to. It's like a muscle when you go to the gym. You don't go to the gym once and get fit, fast, and furious. It's an ongoing process. It's where we get to evolve in our thinking. We get to align with who we truly are. We get to check out what works in our top 6 inches and what works in our heart, so that then we can join the two of them. So that then we can start coming through with these amazing ideas that work for us, work for the people that we're surrounded by, and work for the people that we're wanting to influence and inspire. So when it comes down to it, the thoughts that you have in your top 6 inches, you get to choose. Because what you think impacts how you feel, all those sensations you experience, and then that impacts what your experience is out in that big wide world. So when we start bringing it back in, if you're a high performer in any area of life, it doesn't matter. We really need to be working on our top 6 inches the same as we work on ourselves physically. We can build muscles, we can get faster, we can tone things down, we can get leaner, but we don't tend to do that with our top 6 inches. We let it run amok. I was talking with someone before in a coaching session, and we came to the conclusion that when we don't control what's in our top 6 inches, it's like giving a 2-year-old a double espresso in a toy shop. Now imagine that. The kid's just going to run amok. It's going to be nightmares. Things are going to be all over the place. Nothing's going to be joining up. Nothing's going to be connecting very well. It's going to be freaking madness. And that's what we allow to happen in our own top 6 inches, because we're not controlling it. So you get to control the controllables. You get to practice. You get to play. You get to learn. You get to develop. You get to evolve your own thought process, your own thinking patterns. And just because one particular exercise physically has worked for us in the past doesn't mean to say it's going to work for us now. The same as our thought processes. What worked for us in the past may not work for us now. So for us going forward, just check in. Where are you at with that thought process? Where are you at with those thinking patterns? Are they serving you or are they not serving you? Because you get to choose. And just check in for the ones that aren't serving you, for the ones that aren't empowering you, for the ones that aren't creating that momentum, for the ones that don't feel aligned in who you're being right here, right now. You get to tweak and change those. It's the same as the exercise. So if you're finding that thought process is, you're feeling like you're the 2-year-old in the toy shop on a double espresso at times, check in, just pause. Just ease out. Just check in. Where's your top 6 inches at? Think about what you're thinking. Notice it. We don't need to analyze it. We don't need to go down the garden and eat the worms and all that kind of stuff. No. Just check in. Just observe your thoughts. Be the observer of your thoughts. Just notice what you're thinking. And then tweak it up. Inquire. Go into a space of inquiry. Is it serving me? Is it not serving me? What could I do differently? So really check in. It's like building that muscle when you go to the gym. Our thought processes, our thinking patterns, we get to choose those. We so often focus on the physical side of things. We train and we practice and we have to get it right, and then we want to build that skill. Same here. So you get to practice, you get to train your mindset, you get to build that mindset, you get to create it the way that it's going to serve you. And that is what you can do when you get to choose. You get to choose the thought process that is going to help you to keep creating that momentum for going forward, that's going to help you to achieve the things that you want to achieve, to keep going forward and get to that next level of what you truly deserve.